You know, when I first got the news that Ennis, he won't be fighting Virgil Ortiz in his very first fight at 154, I suggested the best opponent for Ennis would be Sergey Boachak. Sergey, he already fought Virgil Ortiz. He knocked him down twice. He's aggressive. He comes forward. He gave Virgil Ortiz all that he could handle. This would be the perfect opponent. So Eddie Hearn, he comes out, he does his interview, and he drops a bombshell. He explains in full detail why Duran is fighting the guy that he's fighting in October, which is Usman Lima. I give Eddie Hearn a lot of credit because he did something that a lot of promoters don't do today, which is he revealed the entire list of fighters that were offered the Ennis fight and turned it down. I mean, for him to drop this entire list, it's like releasing the damn Epstein files. Because the truth is, this is the type of transparency that we need in the sport of boxing. So Eddie, he does this interview where he starts off firing shots at Dan Rafael for basically trying to discredit this fight because Duran is fighting against an unknown by the name of Lima. So Eddie Hearn, he starts talking about how dangerous Lima is when it comes to Duran's first fight at 154.
Dangerous man. Dangerous man. You've got really lazy journalists like Dan Rafael who just wants to slate Lima. Who's Lima? This is ridiculous. It's like, Dan, you've never watched him fight. Like, you know nothing about him. If you know, anybody that knows this guy will tell you he's a seriously dangerous fighter. He had one loss on a fight that he took on 4 days' notice or 5 days' notice. Like, wasn't even in the gym. And since then, he's been going around the world fighting all these top prospects and beating them in their backyard. He's a dangerous, dangerous puncher, and he's better.
Now, here's where he drops the very long list of all of the fighters that was offered the Ennis fight.
Dangerous puncher, and he's better, in my opinion, than every fighter that we offered the fight to, which was Sergey Bokacic, Brian Mendoza, Rashidi Ellis, Josh Kelly.
Ramos was...
Both Ramoses. I keep getting people going, you offered it to the wrong Ramos. It was both Ramoses. Jesus Ramos with Louis de Cubas and Abel Ramos as well. Who else? Charles Conwell. Not sure if we did Lubin or not. But like he beat, in my opinion, Lubin beats nearly all of them. Sorry, not Lubin. Lima beats nearly all of them. But because you haven't heard of him, you don't think it's a good fight. But a lot of those names that I mentioned, they've just come to lose. I'm telling you now, Lima is the hungriest motherfucker you will meet. He is coming to win. And he's top 10 with 3 governing bodies. He's the IBO world champion. He's 10 on box rec or whatever it is. And it's a final eliminator for the WBA world title. But it's just the same old, same old. Never heard of him, so it's shit. Watch this fight. It'll be a thriller. And it ain't easy.
So this is probably what Eddie Hearn was talking about when he called Dan Rafael a lazy journalist, because Dan, he's known for getting out news really fast. And Dan, he could have hit up Eddie Hearn. He could have hit these guys up and asked them who was offered the Ennis fight before you guys chose Lima. That way, Dan Rafael, he would have more to say than just, why is he fighting this guy Lima? Well, after Eddie just dropped that list, it makes sense now why Duran is fighting against Lima. Now, when it comes to the Ramos situation, we heard rumors that Ennis was in serious negotiations and he was going to be fighting against Jesus Ramos next, right? So then a couple weeks go by and then it's announced that Duran is fighting against Lima. Then all of a sudden, once people start saying that, Ramos turned down the fight, Jesus Ramos comes out of nowhere. He breaks his silence and he says, hey guys, wrong Ramos. They offered my brother to fight, not me. But see, here's what didn't make sense to me. When Ramos came out and he said that, the first thing I wondered to myself is, how come Ramos didn't come out and clear this up when everybody was talking about them being in negotiations like 2 weeks ago? When everybody was talking about Duran is fighting against Jesus Ramos, it was seen that would have been the time that Jesus would have came out and said, hey guys, wrong Ramos. They're negotiating with my brother, not with me. But he didn't do that. He kept his silence. And then once it's announced that Duran is fighting Lima, then he says this. So now I'm starting to think this is the reason why Ennis, he put up this post. he put up this image of Jason Voorhees when he announced his fight against Lima. I feel like that was Boots' way of saying you guys would be amazed if you knew how many people turned down this fight against me. And the craziest thing is, Jaron hasn't even fought at 154 yet. A lot of these fighters are treating Boots like he's Terrence Crawford, and they don't even know how he's going to look at the new weight class. Now, something else that Eddie said in this interview is they've already signed the contract to fight Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil hasn't signed the contract yet. Recently, Virgil, he has been making it very clear that he wants to fight against Xander Zayas next. Ortiz, he just recently came out, he put out a post saying that we sent him an offer and we're waiting for him to accept it. But the fact that he hasn't accepted the offer yet, which that was a couple days ago, it sounds like Xander, he's most likely not going to fight Virgil next. I heard Bob Arum, he had already said they were planning on fighting in Puerto Rico in Xander's next fight. And I know Xander, he's not going to be willing to fight against Ortiz in Puerto Rico, even though that would seem to be a home court advantage for Xander. But you know, a lot of these fighters today, when they fight in their own backyard, that's when they usually pick the easiest opponent because they feel there's too much pressure on them fighting in front of their own home crowd. So if Xander doesn't take the Virgil fight next, which he most likely won't, and Jaron Ennis has already signed to fight Virgil Ortiz, which is a clear and obvious indication they plan on fighting Virgil Ortiz after the Lima fight. The question now is, who is Virgil Ortiz going to fight in his next two fights? Which you would think that if he's not going to wait around for the Boots fight, then he's going to fight somebody right now, and then his second fight will be against Boots. But then again, we don't know if Virgil Ortiz is completely, fully on board. I guess it's really going to come down to how good Jaron looks at 154 when he fights against Lima.
We want Boots to look sensational. We want Virgil Ortiz to look sensational. And then we want to make what may be one of the best fights in American boxing between those two. We're ready. You know, there's a lot of reports. We have signed for the fight. Doesn't mean Virgil Ortiz is signed, and I've never suggested he's signed. We've talked about the terms, which are very straightforward with Golden Boy, and we've signed. So now it's over to Virgil Ortiz. Make the fight, come through in October. Let's make one of the biggest fights in American boxing.
Tim Desert Storm Bradley, what's going on? What's going on, people? Yo, I'm chiming in real quick, man. I heard the news about Boots and Virgil supposed to be off. I'm just letting y'all know right now, that's duck soup. Duck's soup at its finest. That's exactly the way you do it when you want to duck somebody. When you change your mind, you know, when you don't believe that you that damn good.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.